Okay. Okay. There we go. We're good. We're good.
Okay, he
See?
started.
We're nice. It's all good. We've got this under control.
Yeah. So I have face cam. He doesn't have face cam, but it's cool.
Yes.
You guys can see me.
Yes.
You can't see Alec because he doesn't want you to see him.
I'm a regular bedhead right now. If you guys could only see what I have going on. Anyways, so as Proxence was saying, welcome to our Nintendo in 2019 predictions / discussion / podcast, whatever you want to call it. Hope everyone's having a good Friday evening. And just for the record, for the rest of the stream, we're basically just gonna be talking between us two. But you guys can feel free to chime in on the chat, and I'll try my best to keep up with you via text. Anyways, so Proxence.
Yeah.
Hello.
Okay, so
all right.
I know I said I wouldn't do this, but one of the peeps in your chat went back to like a really old video.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Cause he mentioned. So you see the dude whose name starts with an S.
Ah, Stellan.
Yeah, that's a quote from my Pokemon rap tag. Just a fun fact. All right. So.
Shout outs to Stellan. Anyways, so Nintendo in 2019. That's what we're going to be talking about today. And we've got a good friend, Proxence here. He's a good friend of the channel. I'm sure you guys are all already familiar with him. But to kick things off today, we're going to start off with... Holy crap. Where'd my notes go?
Okay, so our discussion is going to be beginning with the games that we currently know about in 2019. So, essentially, we're just going to talk about some of the stuff that has officially been announced by Nintendo and has officially been given a release date. And I think a pretty good place to start off is New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, since that released today.
Yeah, fun fact. That came out today. So, I'm just going to go ahead... Let me go ahead and...
Say hashtag ad.
Oh, yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Hashtag free Game Boys. So let's... I have it on my screen, but let's go ahead and just run through all the games that we have quote-unquote confirmed for 2019. These are subject to change, but this is what we're expecting this year. So we have number 1, which is what launched today, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. Super cool. Travis Strikes Again. No More Heroes, Travis Strikes Again. Yoshi's Crafted World, which was confirmed recently for March 29th, which is actually coming out relatively soon. Daemon X Machina. Fire Emblem Three Houses. I don't know how to pronounce it, okay?
No. You know why I'm laughing. I told you, and we'll get to that.
Oh, yeah, we'll get to that, right?
We will get to it. Trust
the next
me.
the next one on our list is Town, which is the very early in production game by Game Freak. Another game by Game Freak, Pokemon Generation 8. Super excited about that. Luigi's Mansion 3, Animal Crossing, and of course, there's also the possibilities of Shin Megami Tensei 5, Bayonetta 3, and Metroid Prime 4. So, it's a lot of games. That's a lot of games coming out for Nintendo in 2019, and something that I'd like to point out is that this is way more than what we knew about going into 2018. So, at this time last year, in 2018, the only games that we knew about coming from Nintendo for that year were Bayonetta 1 and 2, which are the ports for the Switch, Kirby Star Allies, Yoshi, which didn't really have a name yet for the game. It was like some early gameplay footage, and that was pretty much it. And then Fire Emblem, which I don't think we had actually seen yet. It was just rumored to be coming out that year. So it was just those 4 really that we knew about going into 2018. And looking at the list for 2019, I can't help but feel this is going to be a really, really big year for Nintendo. But what do you think about this list so far, Proxence? Like, what kind of impressions does this leave on you?
All right, so let me see. So, okay, for my channel people, I'm looking to the side because that's where the thingy is. But there's a lot of games on this. And it's wonderful to see such a variety in the games. There are quite a few that are kind of similar styled. I guess Shin Megami Tensei. I don't know. I'll retract the statement before I say something wrong and people get mad at me. But there's a lot of awesome games coming out, and really, out of all of them, I'm excited for basically everything but one of them. So that's gonna be a fun experience, and really, we'll have a game every month if it goes well for Nintendo. And if that happens, then hey, gaming all around, gaming every month, and forget Damon Ex Machina, because it's not going to be that good. Okay.
Wow.
So that's my opinion. Let's move on.
You want to know something in reference to what you said for a game every month? I would like to point out that this is something that is subject to change because these are the games that these are only the games that we know about. So who knows what Nintendo has up their sleeve for E3 this year, as well as like the Game Awards and all those other stages where Nintendo is usually historically known to show off some new titles. So this is all of what we know about so far for 2019, which is even more exciting in my opinion. But so what I'd like to do is...
I really hope they don't pull a Sony with E3 though, where they're just like, hey, you know, it's 2019, but guess what? We got like 73 games coming out in 2020.
Show the same game for like 4 years in a row.
Sony.
Yeah. Anyways, so with all that said, one thing that I like to do is go by each title, and we can sort of expand our thoughts on each one. So, let me see here. Let's go ahead and look at this list of games one by one, and we'll kind of talk about our general thoughts and blah, 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 blah. Okay, so starting with, obviously, Super
Mario Bros. U!
That's the one. That's the one. All right, so we'll go ahead and throw some footage up on here. But New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe comes out today. And honestly, here's the thing. Here's the thing about New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. Not much really needs to be said, in my opinion. It's going to sell gangbusters, especially being on the Switch. It has Toadette in it, and the infamous crown power-up that the internet went crazy with last year. And there's also the fact that there's going to be lots of new Switch owners on the heels of Christmas looking for new games to play, other than Smash and what the stuff that's already on the Switch already. So, for me, I'm not personally super excited about it just because it's old news, and I'm assuming it is for you too. But we're bigger Nintendo fans, and this is something that we've seen for like the past like 4, maybe 5 years already. And it's not something that I'm super excited about, but that's fine because I don't really think I'm the target audience anyways. But there's no doubt in my mind that New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe is going to sell like crazy. People are going to love it regardless, and I can't fault it for that. It's a solid 2D Mario platforming game.
So, to extend from you, it's not old news for me necessarily because I actually never played it since I didn't have a Wii U.
Proxence! What is wrong with you?
Fun fact, Proxence never bought a Wii U because guess what? I saw it and I was like, hey.
That is...
I don't have money for that. So I got a Nintendo 3DS because, you know, all the cool kids have the Nintendo 3DS. Forget the Wii U. Psh, what kind of name is a Wii U anyways?
Oh my goodness.
Wii U.
You've just been exposed.
I've mentioned this before, I think. I never had a Wii U. And I never got to experience Super Mario Bros. U. So now I get to experience it on the Nintendo Switch. So I'm definitely a little bit more excited for it than Alec here. You know, he's a fake fan.
Listen, all right, I've played through these games like multiple times already over the course of the past however long it's been out. It feels like this game's been out forever. It feels like ever since I was a child, New Super Mario Brothers has been a thing. But it's not my fault that I played through these games and levels so many times, Proxence. But you know what? Here's the thing.
It's not my fault I couldn't afford a Wii U.
One thing I'd like to mention before we move away from this topic of this game is that despite the fact that I am so meh about this game, I'm probably still going to buy it. Just because I'm a Nintendo addict.
Okay.
They have their hands deep in my wallet. I'm probably still going to get it anyway.
Yeah. So, first time I'm playing it, I'll probably enjoy it, and Alec here is going to buy it again.
Yeah, I'm a sucker.
Support Nintendo.
All right.
Nintendo is good.
Well, anyway, so the next game in our list is No More Heroes. Travis Strikes Again. So, to be honest, I really don't have a huge, like, opinion on this game, really at all. So, No More Heroes is a game series that I've known about in the back of my mind ever since, like, it feels like the ages of the Xbox 360, where it feels like a game that's just always been there, you know, and I've never actually given it a chance or had a chance to try it. But here's the thing. I really, really love hack and slash style games and like shoot 'em ups and all that stuff, and that seems to be what No More Heroes is, just based on the like the limited exposure that I have to it. But from what I hear, No More Heroes Travis Strikes Again is going to be like a prequel of sorts, or sort of a deviation from the formula, if you will. But I think, in general, I think the art style is cool, and Travis is cool as well, and therefore the series is probably cool. So because those are my thoughts on that.
Because A equals B and B equals C, therefore A must equal C.
If you wanted to break it down mathematically, yes.
I mean, that's actual math, though, so
Oh,
it makes sense.
I'm a dum-dum, so I wouldn't know. All right.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on No More Heroes?
All right,
Proxence?
so no More Heroes. Honestly, I'm gonna be straightforward with this. Prior to I guess the Switch being a thing, I never knew about No More Heroes in terms of the franchise. So basically, when the Switch came out and the Switch said, "Yo, we're gonna have Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes," I was like, "Whoa, okay, cool! Oh, okay, wow, look, it's a game!"
Oh my god, why is he yelling?
What?
He's yelling so loud, he's so enthusiastic.
Yeah, I'm exemplifying my reaction to it. It was like, "Oh, look, it's a game! Wow, okay."
Wow!
Wow, dude! Unbelievable! But, now I'm like stuck. I'm pretty sure I met the dude who made it at a convention, so that was cool. I got his signature in my book of signatures. So.
Oh, awesome.
That's nice. It was essentially, well, okay, I didn't want to be a fake fan because there were people on the stage and they were like, "Hey, dude, can we get a selfie?" And I was like, "No, I'm not gonna get a selfie with him. That'd be disrespectful because I've never played any of his games, and I still haven't played any of his games. And maybe when No More Heroes Travis Strikes Again comes out, I'll play one of his games. But right now, I have not played one of his games. And to be honest, I don't know what's gonna happen with Travis Strikes Again. But
yeah, me neither. Like, I don't know what to really expect from the No More Heroes franchise, just because I've had it, like, I've played so little of it and seen so little of it. But it looks cool, and from what I hear, Suda51 is an excellent developer.
Dude, Suda51's pretty darn cool.
All right, well, anyways, No More Heroes. Moving on from No More Heroes. I feel so bad because I don't really have much to say about it. But moving on from No More Heroes. Hold on a second. Wait.
Hold on.
Moving on from No More Heroes, we have exciting news. Exciting breaking news, if you haven't been on Twitter recently. But coming in 2019, more specifically, March 29th, is Yoshi's Crafted World for Nintendo Switch. So, Yoshi's Crafted World is amazing. I'm really, really excited about it.
Dude, it looks so beautiful.
It looks so beautiful and cute and everything, and here's the thing. It was just announced on Twitter that it's coming out on March 29th. I was already kind of under the assumption that it was coming out sometime in the spring anyway, just because, like, and I think it was like a direct or two ago that they confirmed that it was coming out in like sometime in spring. And in my mind, every time I see spring, I think, you know, that's probably meaning sometime in like May or something, like the most not springy date that you can get without actually being not spring. You know what I'm trying to say? Like the furthest date that you can. Anyways, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. The trailer is adorable. The gameplay looks incredibly fun. Relaxing as pretty much every Yoshi game is as well. It looks somewhat inspired by Woolly World, The cool thing about it, though, is that it occasionally during gameplay, the scenes will flip horizontally, showing you the other side of the levels. And when it does this, you can actually see how this crafted world all comes together, and it's almost like it was left there. Yeah, right? It's almost like it was left there by a small child for Yoshi to move through, which I think is amazing. And I really, really love that. I love the cardboard aesthetic. It reminds me a lot of Paper Mario's set design. It just looks really, really, really fun. And it just looks like sweet, innocent fun, is basically, if I had to sum it up. But, you know, what are your thoughts on this game, Proxence?
That's a good question. So, I love the fact that they use Twitter to announce it, because it's showing that Nintendo, it's diversifying their platforms. So if you guys don't follow Nintendo on Twitter, you should follow them on Twitter. And also, if you don't follow Alec and stuff and at Proxence on Twitter, you should follow those two people as well. But speaking of Yoshi's crafted world, I'm definitely excited for it. It looks like a beautiful game, and like you were saying, the cardboard aesthetic, it's cool. You know, it seems created. It seems crafted. It's almost like
it feels organic.
Yeah. And I really like any Yoshi game, because it's rare to find a bad Yoshi game.
That's true. Although I will say that I enjoyed Woolly World a lot more than I've pretty much have enjoyed any other Yoshi game before that. And
yeah, that's fair.
Being that Yoshi's Crafted World looks so inspired and based on the formula that they established for Woolly World, Crafted World might be able to take that spot. Who knows? We'll find out in March. But
it's also on Switch, so you can play it on the go, and you can play Woolly World.
Yes,
World on the go as well. But
that is true.
Let's not get into the specifics.
One thing that was that's being pointed out here in the chat by Converse Alex is Labo integration into this game. So being that this game is so, you know, heavily focused on the cardboard aesthetic and like the fact that everything's created, it would be interesting to see some sort of Labo integration with Yoshi's Woolly World. I would like for that not to be a selling point, but more something that was like, you know, something that's optional, I think would be ideal for me, because just give me another reason to bring out my cardboard pile that I have in my garage.
Okay, dude, did you get a Labo? Like, did you get a Labo when you got it?
Yeah, I got the variety kit, so I have like the bike, and I have the piano, and I have all that stuff just lying around, and I'm like, I don't want to tear it down because it's so pretty, but I also don't have a use for it.
So here's the thing with that, right? I got the variety pack as well, but I never really made anything other than the house for that one video.
Oh my god, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, after that, I just left it. It all stayed in the box, and it's now sitting in a closet unfinished.
I mean, it would be cool, because Labo is a very interesting thing, and it seems to me that Nintendo had a lot more confidence in Labo whenever it was first introduced, because there was so much heavy marketing around it, and there's now like the partnership with certain schools around the US, and it would be great to see Labo kind of grow its own legs, if you will, and become a platform of its own. But I don't know. I don't know if I would necessarily be okay with that being like a main part of one of these games. I don't know if it would age well. I don't know if I agree with the I don't know if I agree with having to, you know, have a Nintendo Labo in order to play the game, but I think ideally it would be something where there's like an optional mode or something like that that uses Labo integration. I don't know. I'm not a game designer, and I'm not paid to conceptualize this stuff, but I think it would be cool to see on the condition that it is optional.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way they're gonna not make it optional, because that would be kind of foolish, since they'd have less sales and they'd have a bunch of logistical problems. Because, you know, think about it, it's a $60 game. They're not gonna just add another cost onto it, you know?
Well, think about it like this, like the same way that Amiibo is integrated into the games that they're introduced into. It could be a similar sort of way of using Labo in a game like this. But it's weird because the only Labo integration that I can think of that would work well would be with Yoshi's Crafted World. So who knows if it's even worth all that all that time and energy just to get it into the game. I don't know. I think it would be cool, but I can't think of a good way to implement it.
Yeah. So
anyways,
you want to move on to the big one?
Well, anyways,
I can take the lead on this one.
Hold on, wait. I have one last thing to say about Yoshi's Crafted World.
All right.
So, for those of you that are watching at home, I encourage you to go watch the trailer for Yoshi's Crafted World. And I would like to point out that there's one thing that I find weird about that trailer. The trailer, for those that don't know, is like a setup for the game's story. One thing that I find weird in that trailer is that we see what we're told is Baby Bowser. But that Baby Bowser that we see in the trailer looks almost identical to Bowser Jr. And I don't understand what that character is to Nintendo and what I'm supposed to take from that. I was watching the trailer. Here's the thing. For those that don't know as well, Baby Bowser and Bowser Jr. are two separate characters as far as Nintendo is concerned. But in the trailer for Yoshi's Crafted World, you see Baby Bowser, but in the text, like the dialogue, it refers to him as Bowser Jr. So, anyways, game looks like good, clean fun, and is adorable to boot.
Okay, but here's the thing with it though. They both look pretty similar in general. Like if you Google Baby Bowser, he looks a bunch like Bowser Jr.
I guess it depends on where he's, like, which game you're talking about, because he's looked different over the years.
Conspiracy theory, Bowser Jr. equals Baby Bowser, moving on to the next one.
Yeah, I could go on a tangent for years about my thoughts on Baby Bowser, but you go ahead and take the lead on this one, Proxence. You probably have more to say about this game than I do.
Here we go into the game of the century, Daemon X Machina. When you were sitting at home, you just opened up the box for your brand new Nintendo Switch. You know what probably went through your mind?
What?
Man, I'd love to get a mecha game on this console. And that probably went through the mind of about maybe 2,000 other people. So Daemon X Machina is a mecha game for the Nintendo Switch. Its aesthetic is futuristic. It seems like a battle-esque mecha game. You just like fight one-on-one. And really, personal opinion on this, I'm not into mecha games, and out of any mecha game that I've seen, this one really takes my interest away from it because it's got too much going on. Like if you look at the trailer for it, it's got so much going on with its color scheme and all of that it seems to clash with itself and what it's trying to show in its aesthetic, I guess. And I don't know, I'm personally not too interested in it. And also it's copyright x copyright, because literally every single song within it that has been shown in a trailer has been copyrighted like that. So that's wonderful.
Oh wow.
But yeah, there's other mecha games that I'm more excited for, and the main one is one that isn't actually being released in the West yet. It'll be released eventually, but it's the level 5 mecha game. I do forget the name of it. I think it's Megaton Musashi or something. Musashi?
I have no idea.
Yeah, it was revealed in 2016, I do believe, and it's finally getting released soon. So that's definitely one that I'm more excited for in comparison to Daemon X Machina, which is a game that I'm not excited for. So, what is your opinion on it, Alec?
You know, I totally forgot this game existed before we actually started doing research for this presentation, this little podcast thing that we're doing here. So, Daemon X Machina, otherwise known to me as the game that was shown before Smash at E3, this game honestly didn't leave a huge impression on me. I'm generally not a fan of mecha-style games like that, so I don't think I'm going to have a whole worlds of interest in it, to be honest. Then again, I did think the same thing of Xenoblade Chronicles X on the Wii U back in 2015, and that game has actually ended up being great, so who knows. But, I don't really have much to say beyond that. I'm not exactly super interested.
That's all we need to say for that copyright X copyright.
Yeah, Daemon X Machina. It's very meh. Anyways, moving on to
one that...
yeah, yes, I'm rubbing my hands together. You can't see it.
For this.
You guys can't see it. I'm rubbing my hands together.
He doesn't have face cam because he's not as cool as me.
Rude. So, next game on our list, and I'm really excited to say that this is actually coming out in 2019. It feels good to be able to say that, but Fire Emblem Three Houses. So, I have quite a bit to say on this, or a little bit more than Daemon X Machina, that's for sure. So, Fire Emblem Three Houses. This game looks very, very clean. I'm really loving the HD visuals, and the fact that each character is going to have their own units seems like it will make battles feel a lot more grandiose. I also think, from what little we've seen, the story looks interesting as well. I don't know. I'm just excited to get my hands on my first console Fire Emblem game. I haven't actually had a chance to play one since my first exposure to the series was Awakening on the 3DS. Other than the initial trailer, though, I don't think there's much else we know about it at this point. I know it's a hotly debated topic within the community, but I'm glad that they're sticking with the quote-unquote anime style with this game. I think the more marketable portion of the franchise's audience, honestly, definitely prefer that, and I hope that this game does well, because it seems to me that over the years, the fan base for Fire Emblem has only grown, especially if you look at its inclusions in Smash over time. I mean, at this point, it's kind of hard to deny that this game isn't a niche title anymore. It feels like a mainstay at this point, which makes me happy. I'm really loving the characters that I've gotten a chance to play in the games that I have so far, and I'm excited to see how big Fire Emblem ends up getting, because it's a really good series if you haven't played it yet, and I'm just really, I don't know. Fire Emblem Three Houses looks great, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I agree. Like, let me be honest. So, I have to word this properly, because I'm not that big of a Fire Emblem fan. Don't get mad at me.
Alec has left the group chat.
so here's the thing. It's never really been like something I thought was bad or anything. It's just that as a game, it never really fully engrossed me in what it is as a franchise, I like it. I like the characters. I like the story. But I don't know. I feel like when I played through a Fire Emblem game, I didn't enjoy it that much.
Which one did you play?
I don't even remember. It was on the 3DS.
Oh my god. If you're talking about Awakening, we can't be friends.
It was the other one.
Okay. I can forgive you for that at least.
Fates?
If I remember correctly, Fates was actually a pretty divisive title in the series, so I can give you that.
Yeah, that's the only one other... Oh, dang it, hit my desk. That's the only one other than the Fire Emblem Warriors that I played.
Oh, Fire Emblem Warriors is another fun game.
Yeah. And that one was... It was okay. It was okay.
Mm-hmm.
But based on my previous interactions with it, I can't say I'm like super duper excited, but the game looks cool. And I'll give it a try, and I'll see how it is. And I'll probably like it, because, comparing the 3DS to the Switch and comparing a title that apparently was more divisive English, oh my goodness, to a title that has a bunch of excitement to it is a thing.
Yeah, I'm hoping it ends up being good, because a lot of the stuff that we've seen so far from the trailers seems to be a little bit different. Like, as I said earlier, each character, like there's the three main characters. Each one is going to have their own units and battles, and I think that's cool. And I'm assuming that a lot of the visual flair and stuff that the Switch is going to be able to pull off with this game, it's just going to add to that feeling of there being an actual war going on, or like an actual battle. So I think that's going to be cool. It's no longer going to be limited by the 3DS's hardware, which I'm excited about. Finally, we're moving away from development of that grandpa console by now. Thank goodness.
What are you calling a grandpa? That console is a teenager.
Dude, the 3DS came out when I was like -2.
So now you are 4.
Yes. Yes. For those that are watching at home, I'm 4. Anyways,
Confirm.
so that pretty much wraps up Fire Emblem Three Houses. The next game on our list is actually quite interesting. Quite interesting.
Quite so.
Quite interesting in that I've never played a game developed by Game Freak outside of the realm of Pokemon. And the game that I'm talking about is called Town, and it's definitely. Whoops, sorry. Hold on. I'm working. I'm working on my showing it off to our audience here, but
see, the working title is Town. Just something to keep in mind.
Yeah,
'cause they can adjust it at any point. Since I feel like, as a game, if you see it on the shelf and it just says the word Town on it, you're not gonna be that inclined to buy it.
All right, so I've got the gameplay here. There you go.
Super mega super duper Pokemon.
What? All right.
Wait. Town World.
There you guys go. So that's what Town looks like. It's a very, you know, for me, this game is hard to talk about, considering we know so little about this game, outside of the fact that, you know, you're in this town, you're doing quests, or something, and sometimes monsters attack. I will say that I do enjoy the art style. However, I think what's going to be the most interesting thing about this game, for most people, is the fact that it is being developed by Game Freak. I know I've never played any of the games that Game Freak has developed outside of the realm of Pokemon. And it'll be interesting to see what kind of reception this game ends up getting and what it ends up becoming in the end. I think it'll be really cool to see that.
I mean, I'm excited for it too. I'm like, I look at it and I like the aesthetic, and I feel, I don't know, I feel like, stop saying like, why do I do that? I don't, like, it, well, I did it again. The game is made by Game Freak. Game Freak makes good games, give or take 1 or 2, and, you know, they've got enough experience with Pokemon where I feel like their experiments with other games is fine. You know, you've had, let me check. They had a game called Harmonite a while back. Then they had a game called Tembo the Super Duper Cool Elephant.
What?
Censored.
Okay.
Then they had something called Giga Wrecker. So they've made games. They've definitely done it, and they've definitely made good ones. And I think Town isn't going to be different. I think it's going to be cool, and it'll be fun to play. And that does lead us into the next topic. And do you mind if I take a little introductory lead?
Go for it. Oh God, wait! I just realized what's next on the list.
Boys and girls, welcome to the Pokemon section of the discussion. So, as you all may know, the year is 2019, and as Game Freak said, we've got Pokemon 2019 coming out. It is the core RPG title that is being released this year. It is Generation 8. It is a new world. It is a new adventure. It is new fun. It is new experiences. It is new everything, and it is coming for the Nintendo Switch. And there is so much you can think about here because we don't know anything. We don't.
Absolutely
I don't
nothing.
know anything. Alec doesn't know anything about the game. Okay, so let me specify. We know stuff, just not about the game. But I can say that I'm super duper excited for it because it has so much stuff, you know? It could be this, it could be that, it could be open world, it could be normal world, it could be Pokemon Go integration, it could be actually a normal Pokemon game that doesn't have Pokemon Go integration and is sort of what people like in Pokemon games and not simplified, so then it's actually difficult and you have a challenge in it. And Pokemon can follow behind you. That's another thing. That would be nice.
Oh my gosh.
Look. Here's the thing. It's nice to have a Pokemon walking behind you. They had it in Let's Go. They better have it in Gen 8. Because if they don't, I'm about to write an email to Game Freak and say, hey, You guys are really cool. Thank you for making such awesome games. By the way, can you please put Pokemon following you? Okay, thanks, please. You guys have the animation for every single Pokemon. You might as well just use it.
Yeah, I've always thought that's weird.
Yeah, because they have GIFs for all of the Pokemon, but they never chose to use it for like Gen 7. I don't know. Yeah. So
All right.
I'm excited for that because there's so much they can do with it, and it'll be nice if it's open world. All right. So now I give the mantle, figurative mantle, to Alec.
All right. You guys ready for this? I have a lot of things to say about Pokemon Generation 8, and I hope you're ready for it. Here we go. All right. So, Pokemon Generation 8. I'm going to start this off by saying that we are now living in a post-Let's Go kind of world, and I think that changes what people's expectations are about a new Pokemon game, especially a main series one, and I think whatever Generation 8 ends up looking like, it's possible that we'll see more living, dynamic worlds. What I mean is kind of what you see roaming around the locales of Detective Pikachu, for instance, because in that game, you'll see a lot of characters and Pokemon casually hanging out, outside of battles, and you'll see things like certain Pokemon having jobs. One of my favorite examples of this was a pair of Yanma being recruited to operate the cameras for their local news station. I thought that was awesome. So I think you'll see things like that. Another big one for me is Mega Evolution. Hello? Can we, bring that back, please?
Okay, personal injection here. It was in Let's Go as well, but I don't know, with Mega Evolution, I just feel like they never really did much with it. So if they bring it back, they better bring it back big. They better make sure it's.
They put Mega Evolutions in some of the movies.
They did?
Yeah.
I still have to watch the new Pokemon movie. It's out on Netflix.
Oh yeah, I saw that last year when it was in theaters. But yeah, Mega Evolution used to be a big thing for Game Freak, and I thought it was such a cool concept, and there was so much hype around the new games when specifically Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, when those were coming out. There was a lot of speculation on oh, who's gonna get a Mega Evolution? What's it gonna look like, and stuff like that. And I never really saw the same type of hype around Z moves, which seemed to have replaced Mega Evolutions for a while there. Although their inclusion in Pokemon Let's Go does sort of lift my spirits just a little bit about that. But Mega Evolution is something that I would like to see return for Pokemon Generation 8. Another thing that I would like to see in Pokemon Generation 8, which might cause a little bit of debate, would be the inclusion of a proper co-op experience. So, kind of similar to the way that it was interpreted in Pokemon Let's Go, but done to a degree that it's actually, worth playing.
Actual two-player where it's not just, hey, you got two players, but your player 2 follows player 1.
Yeah, in player 2 is basically just a ghost, and no one cares that they exist in the world. But,
So,
I think proper co-op would be cool.
When you say it, do you mean actual split screen?
I mean, split screen or online multiplayer, I think would be cool, because with the launch of Nintendo Switch Online, my mind has just been buzzing about the possibilities of some of my favorite Nintendo games incorporating online to a 2019 standard, and I think a cool co-op experience built into Pokemon Generation 8 would be awesome. I'm not here to tell you what that would look like, but I think it would be cool to include that just do it a little bit better than the way that Let's Go was done, because yes, Let's Go was kind of cool, if your friend had the Pokeball Go Plus, or, if you had someone with an extra Joy-Con lying around, it's cool to have the other avatar walking around with you, but nothing quite like a proper co-op experience, which is what I would like to see in Pokemon Generation 8. Moving right along on my list, I also have less Pokemon Go integration. So,
yeah, dude, I completely agree.
Please get Pokemon Go far away from my main series Pokemon games. I mean, here's the thing. I don't inherently dislike Pokemon Go. I don't, shame anyone that loves it or anything, but I think it would be wonderful to keep it away from Pokemon Generation 8 because I feel like if we were to include Pokemon Go integration in the new games, some of that would come with a little bit of limitations. So, kind of like, and this is just due to how the game's systems actually work. So in Pokemon Go, there's things like Pokemon don't have natures. Pokemon, there are certain things that Pokemon can't have in Pokemon Go. If you were to include them in a Pokemon Switch game, I don't know.
You just reminded me of that.
I don't know if it would like hold it back in any way, because I don't know if you could include Pokemon Go Pokemon into the new game. I feel like I'm saying Pokemon a lot, but I'm trying to make a difference between the two.
Pokemon Go Pokemon.
Exactly. But less Go integration would be great. I mean, by no means is Pokemon Go a bad game, but I want Pokemon Generation 8 to be a proper main series Pokemon game, and I don't want it to be held back by any sort of mobile mechanics or anything like that. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree. Like, with Pokemon Go, I don't know, on its platform of a phone, it's fun, but taking that and trying to integrate it with a bunch of other mainline games, I feel is kind of foolish. Like, there's features in Pokemon Go that are fun and they're cool and they're enjoyable, but taking those and splicing them with the main game, which is supposed to be its own unique style, I don't know. I feel like, as you said, it does take away from the game, and I hope they do take some of that back and they're just like, hey, Pokemon RPG, this is what you wanted, this is what you got.
Also, another thing that I wanted to mention while on the topic of Pokemon is, every single Pokemon game succeeding the original ones has had some way or some form to transfer Pokemon from older games. And I'm wondering,
I know what you're going to say.
How would that even work in a Switch title? Because you'd have to build some sort of compatibility with Pokemon Bank. Because currently, Pokemon Bank is like the end-all be-all for transferring older Pokemon to newer games, and it covers most of the series. Albeit there's I think the original Gold and Silver and Pokemon Red and Blue. I don't think you can transfer Pokemon from anymore. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anyone in the chat can feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there's a way to transfer those. But I think Pokemon Bank covers a pretty good net of Pokemon as a whole, like all the series. And I'm just I've been trying to rack my brain around this, but what would they need to do to allow people to transfer their older Pokemon, if at all?
So, I'm stumbling on my words a little bit because, it's something you really got to think about before you talk about. But you have an account for Pokemon Bank, so if they wanted to make it work, there's ways they could make it work. But I feel like trying to take it and connect it between 3DS and Switch is going to open a big gaping hole in the defenses of the Switch. Really weird wording, but I feel like that'll open up area for hacking, and I think that's something they're worried about. You know what I'm saying?
Like homebrew?
Because, yeah. Ew. Yeah, hacking, don't do it. It's bad.
Yeah.
Don't. I got closer to my webcam. You didn't see it, but don't hack. But I feel like if they try to connect the 3DS to the Switch in that way, it'll open it up for that. And I don't know. I think whatever they do with Gen 8, it'll probably end up being a big game where you can get basically every Pokemon that you can. So then it's sort of how do you describe it? It's sort of going to be the game where even if you haven't played stuff before and you hop into it, you'll have fun with it and you'll be able to get what you want. and you won't necessarily have too much difficulty finding the Pokemon that you think are super duper rare, because they'll be findable somehow. Maybe they won't have Gen 1 Pokemon in it, and then make it so you can transfer from let's go to Gen 8. Or maybe they will.
Who knows?
I don't know.
So, my next piece on my list here actually transitions quite nicely from that thought. So, if we're under the assumption that Game Freak isn't going to include any sort of Pokemon Bank or any ability for us to transfer Pokemon from older games, I think the next logical step, and I know this is a bit of a stretch, you guys can calm your keyboards before I say it, but the inclusion of multiple regions might be a good way to solve that. Now, if that were to happen, this wouldn't be the first Pokemon game that has multiple regions in it. As I'm sure we're all aware, Pokemon Gold and Silver had 2.
What?
Pokemon Gold and Silver had Kanto in it.
I'm kidding. I remember. It's a joke.
It's okay. I didn't know whether to trust you or not because you've never owned a Wii U. Anyways, I think multiple
Pokemon Gold and Silver came out on the Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color.
I can't trust you, Proxence. I can't trust you.
Oh, okay. Here's what I'm gonna do. You keep talking. I'm gonna go and grab my cartridge of Pokemon Gold. BRB.
All right. Well, while Proxence does that, yeah, I think multiple regions would be an interesting way to handle the ability to catch or transfer Pokemon from older games. As for how that would work, I'm not exactly sure. But I know, B-Man, you said that quite a bit earlier in the discussion. But the concept of open world would be a pretty interesting take on it as well. And if we were to go the route of open world, I feel like if that was the case, it should all just be kind of one big region. But I don't know if Game Freak wants to keep the continuity of older games and having certain regions that only certain Pokemon appear in. But anyways, that's besides the point. So multiple regions would be an interesting way to handle that, I think. Another thing that I'm curious... I think he's actually going to go grab himself his cartridge. So, I also noticed that Zeta Gamer, you said earlier that, or asked me, do I think that Pokemon is going to be revealed next month or anytime soon? No. The answer is no. I don't think so. I don't think we're actually going to hear anything quite remotely related to Pokemon Generation 8 until like 3 months away from release. Because historically, at least as far as I remember, Game Freak has always been the kind to sort of drip feed us information, to say the least. They kind of just give you little nuggets of reveals every now and then, usually starting within 6 months of release. So 3 to 6 months is usually, I think, the time frame there. But I don't know that we'll actually hear much about the game until later on in the year. Maybe at E3, though. That is a good point. Maybe at E3.
The game is going to be released. Prediction, October 24th, 2019.
Can you imagine if that was correct?
If I get that right, somebody owes me big.
If he gets that right, someone give him a Wii U.
Yes, somebody do that. Okay, October 24th, plus or minus 2 days.
Yeah. Did you actually go grab your cartridge?
Okay, so I couldn't find my cartridge of Pokemon Gold, but guess what I got? Do you have my stream open up?
No.
Okay, well, I got my copy of Pokemon Heart Gold. I got my copy of Pokemon Soul Silver. Pokewalker's inside.
Jesus
and
Christ.
Since I couldn't find my cartridges for Pokemon Gold, I got the next best thing. I've got a Game Boy Color cartridge for Dexter's Laboratory Robot Rampage.
Wow.
I've got a Game Boy Color cartridge for I Don't Know, because it doesn't have a tag on it anymore. And I've got a Game Boy Color cartridge for Shrek Fairy Tale Freakdown.
I've never heard of that game, but sounds like a classic.
Cult classics, guys, right here. Dexter's Laboratory Shrek and game that I don't know the name of, because it doesn't have a name on it. So I'm a true Pokemon fan.
All right. So, with all of that said, you think that we would be done talking about Pokemon, but we're not! I still have a list of things to say. So gym battles. Do you think that those are returning for Pokemon Generation 8, or do you think that they're going to keep the same formula that they have with Pokemon Sun and Moon?
Definitely not the Sun and Moon formula. I think whatever they do with Gen 8... Okay, so you know creator Pokemon dude, bro?
Junichi Masuda.
Yeah. You know how he'll usually travel to whatever country he's making... Wait... Satoshi. Doesn't...
What are you talking about?
Okay. I don't know what I'm saying.
Dude bro Masuda?
Masuda. Right. Dude bro Masuda. He travels usually.
Mm-hmm.
When a game is getting made, he'll travel to the country where the game's usually set in. So I really hope people recently have been looking at his travels like, hey, maybe he's in give me a country that a Pokemon game's never been in.
Australia.
Maybe the next Pokemon game is in Australia.
Maybe such a weird thing. Pokemon in Australia. I can't even imagine how that would look like.
It's all desert. You got one tree, and then you got kangaroos, spiders, snakes, and everything trying to destroy you. But that's something that I've noticed. So for most of his recent travels, he's been sticking to Japan. So maybe the next one goes back to a Japan-esque area.
That is true.
Gyms are coming. To get back to what you were saying, gyms are coming back. We're not keeping a lowland gyms. Yeah, if they do happen, then I'm sorry. I thought they were going to be going away.
Well, that's what you get. So to kind of continue off that thought, I am on the same boat you are, I think. I do not think that, like, the whole Island Kahuna mechanic or whatever is going to come back for Generation 8. Jacob Spencer 04 in the chat says that you have to think about gimmicks. Every generation has one, even if it means changing how gyms work. So I wouldn't go necessarily as far as saying that the Island Kahuna thing was a gimmick. I feel like that was more just appropriate for the setting that the game was in. But yeah. I will say that I don't think that that was a permanent change to the game's formula. It was a nice one, yes, but I think Game Freak realizes that the majority of Pokemon fans usually prefer the formula that's been well established over the past, however many years. And that brings me to my next point. So I'm going to go a little bit on a tangent here, so forgive me for saying a lot of words at once. But at the end of the day, I think this game has tons of potential. And there's a lot, obviously, that I want to see out of a Generation 8 game. But if I were to level my expectations just a bit, I could also see Game Freak trying to play it safe with this one. So, basically what I mean by that is, same general formula and everything that we're used to, with some improved graphics, more polished battle animations, things like that, because I feel like that's something that most people would be okay with. On the other hand, though, I think it would be really cool to see something along the lines of a Breath of the Wild style restructuring of the series. Historically speaking, though, I think Game Freak has always been, sort of reserved when it comes to substantial overhauls of the game's formula. But can you imagine? I want you all, everyone listening, to close your eyes and imagine.
I'm closing my eyes.
Close your eyes, put a bandana over your head, drink some water, do all that stuff at once.
Okay, wait, hold up. Bandana, let me take my shirt off.
I'm gonna paint a word. I'm gonna paint a picture for you with my words. So it's gonna be a beautiful tapestry of what a Nintendo Switch Pokemon could be. Are you ready for this?
Hold up before you do it. I gotta get. Here we go. There we go. Right. You said put a bandana. Okay. I got it.
Why do you have all this immediately available near your desk?
I just took off my overshirt, and I've got a bandana, and I'm drinking water out of a cup. Here we go. Covering my eyes, listening. Go.
All right. So I'm gonna lean in real close to the mic here, guys, so you can listen to me. But can you imagine how wonderful it would be to have a Pokemon game that is open world, literally allowing you to travel across the land, searching far and wide, with each Pokemon to understand
the power that's inside.
Yeah, but I think that would be so cool. And B-Man's been saying it for pretty much the entire discussion, but I think an open world Pokemon would be amazing. It would continue on with the theme of, Nintendo just, flipping over the foundation of all these really long established Nintendo franchises. And I think it would be really cool. But I could also very much see Game Freak playing it safe. So I don't know. I'm sure time will tell what ends up happening to Generation 8. But, I think it's safe to say that a lot of people are expecting quite some big things from this next game. So I guess we'll see as the months go on. But here's hoping we see something sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and it would be really nice to see an open world game, especially with Pokemon, since managing to do that with Breath of the Wild, I think Nintendo. I mean, obviously, Game Freak's making Pokemon, but I think Nintendo can hop in there and be like, "Hey guys, I know you guys don't really like making a big overhaul, but you did it with that Sun and Moon game. You can do it again, right?"
Why is there an old lady doing the Nintendo Directs now?
That was Mickey Mouse. Oh, hey Goofy, how's it going? Or we got Pilot Mickey.
This is your pilot, Mickey Mouse speaking.
Oh no.
And we're going to be flying.
Cover your ears, run away.
And we're going to be stopping in Unova region. And after that, we will fly to whatever the one in France was. Thank you for flying with Mickey Mouse Airlines.
Why would it be called Mickey Mouse? Whatever.
Because it's not Disney. Mickey Mouse Airlines.
I can't believe that just happened. Anyways, so next game on our list is a very controversial game in the series, I think, and that is Luigi's Mansion 3. I'm gonna go ahead and let you start off with your thoughts on this one, Proxence. So, you can feel free to just let us know. Like, what are your thoughts on Luigi's Mansion 3 so far?
Luigi in the mansion in number 3 on the Nintendo Switch. That is my opinion. He looks cool, he looks scared, he is gonna find a monster underneath your bed. Luigi, your turn.
Alright, well, I don't think I have anything quite theatrical much to that degree, but so if I'm understanding that correctly, you're excited about it.
Okay, my webcam isn't focusing, but personally, I'm gonna say that I'm excited for it. I think I've only actually played Luigi's Mansion once. It was the first one, and I liked it. Never played number 2, but I feel excited for it, and I feel like the fact that they have so much to do with the Switch, it'll be good. It'll be good. It'll be fun. It'll be spook. It'll be there to hit you with a hook.
And then, just to clarify, when you say Luigi's Mansion 2, you mean Dark Moon? Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
That's what it was called, right?
Yes. So.
That one.
Luigi's Mansion 3. Luigi's Mansion 3. Nintendo. Okay. So. Being that this game is coming off of the heels of Luigi's Mansion 3DS. For those that don't know, Luigi's Mansion, the original one for GameCube, was quote-unquote remastered for the Nintendo 3DS. From what I've heard, it was pretty good. It's a pretty decent port. Never played it myself, so I wouldn't know. But I'm hoping that this game is more in the style of the first game, based on the... But based on the 40-second or so, I think it was like 40 seconds long, trailer that we've seen, it seems like this game is going to be based off of Dark Moon. I will say that the game looks decent, visually speaking. However, I wish it was a bit darker. I noticed that a lot of the scenes are, like, you know, well lit, which sort of goes against the idea of Luigi being in a haunted mansion, in my opinion. Secondly, I think portrait ghosts need to make a return for Luigi's Mansion 3. One of my biggest issues with Dark Moon was that it felt very generic. The mansion, the music, even the ghosts themselves felt very samey. And I think, yeah.
Can you define samey within the context?
When things are the same.
Yeah, you could have just said they felt similar to one another.
All right, Mr. Webster's dictionary over there.
Well, another terminology that you could use is that, well, when you consider the ghosts, you could say that they were quite... maybe a good word is indistinguishable or interchangeable to one another. Quite almost identical. Almost homogeneous.
What was I saying?
You're saying that the ghosts
are yeah.
samey.
Okay, so, to kind of tie up that thought, I think the reintroduction of the portrait ghosts would do a lot to kind of, you know, make the game a little bit more memorable, because I can easily think back and remember the boss fights from the GameCube version a lot easier than I can for Dark Moon. And it's kind of funny because I was really digging the vibe that we saw in the Simon Belmont reveal trailer for Smash. And I think I remember mistaking it for a Luigi's Mansion reveal before Simon actually appeared on screen. Which actually, it really says something, because I was really digging the aesthetic that Smash Brothers trailer was building up more than the actual Luigi's Mansion 3 trailer was showing off. So
wow, okay.
Yeah, so long story short, I'm excited for Luigi's Mansion 3. I don't have high hopes that it's going to be something that'll, you know, blow my socks off or anything, but Luigi's Mansion, I just really hope that it becomes a little bit more inspired from the original than Dark Moon. Yeah. And I feel like I'm not the only one that thinks that.
Yeah. Cliff is saying that he agrees.
Oh, good. Yes. Okay, so I'm not the only one. Thank you, Cliff.
So you wanna hop into the next big one?
Yes.
Can I
Yes.
steer the wheel?
Yes. Here, I'm handing you the wheel.
Everybody.
Oh no, I shouldn't have given them the wheel.
Step on the gas.
Stop! Wait,
Going
there's a
90
cliff
an
there.
hour.
Make it left. Oh no! You just ran a red light.
Here we go. Animal Crossing. The silence is for added effect, but dudes, Animal Crossing is coming out on Nintendo Switch, and Animal Crossing is gonna be pretty darn cool. And if we think about the Nintendo Direct that it got announced in, dude, okay. First off, it's out here like, hey, Isabelle is coming out in Smash, and then after that, it's like, well, guess what? You know how you guys thought you got trolled? You didn't. You're still getting Animal Crossing, and you're gonna like it, because it's gonna sell a lot.
It's gonna sell
a lot. Here, if you look at a curve to illustrate how much it's gonna be sold, here, I will illustrate it for you. It'll sell... Okay, my camera's flipped. Gotta draw backwards. It'll sell more than that much. A lot more than that much. Look, it's gonna sell good. It's gonna be fun. It's Animal Crossing. I mean, Animal Crossing on the 3DS was fantastic. Animal Crossing on the Wii U was, I don't know. It's as a franchise, Animal Crossing is fun. It's relaxing. It's enjoyable, and maybe they'll find some way to connect it with the mobile app, which would be pretty cool as well. I'm excited. How about you, Alec?
Oh, good. Okay. So, I don't think that it's humanly possible for anyone to not be excited about this game. But let me go ahead and start off by saying I agree with you that this game is going to sell like hotcakes. It's gonna sell
Like
huge.
hotcakes?
It's gonna sell what? It's gonna sell gangbusters. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
it's
dude,
gonna
I
sell
got
so
you.
much.
I know what you say.
It's gonna make us the big bucks.
Big money.
So, Animal Crossing Switch. This is a game that I've already gone over pretty much my entire wish list of things that I want in a video like a couple of months ago. But just to kind of take a few pieces from it, just to kind of talk about here, a few of the highlights were I want multiple save files. That would be awesome. Because, you know, what if I want to like completely revamp my town without actually getting rid of the town that I currently have? I think it would be cool to have, you know, at least 3 save files. That would be awesome. Store them in the cloud, maybe. Nintendo, come on, let's get on it. Cloud storage, please. More multiplayer functionality would be something that I would love to see as well, introduced into Animal Crossing for Switch. And what I mean by that is basically just more ways that I can play with my friends online. Yes, New Leaf did have some online functionality, but it was never something that you would want to go out of your way for. And believe me, you had to go way out of your way to go and visit someone else's town. I mean, you had to travel to a specific location on the map. So you had to go to the train station, you had to sit through like 30 seconds of dialogue to actually connect to the internet. And then once you're connected to the internet, you have to rely on your friend being online at the same time and at their train station to allow you in. And it was just a big hassle if you wanted to visit anybody's town. So
You had to walk 500 miles, and then you had to walk 500 more. And you just had to be the dude who walked 1,000 miles to end up in someone else's world, you know?
I don't know what to say to you for making that joke. But I think the proper, or like the most agreeable solution to this problem would be to have some sort of server-based community system. And fun fact, the video that I published about this has been my most commented on video, I think, ever. Because there are so many people offering ideas and like debating with each other on what they would want to see and blah, blah, blah. So this is a hot topic. This game is a very, very hot topic amongst the Nintendo community. But I think the most agreeable solution to adding more multiplayer functionality into an Animal Crossing game would be to have something like a community. So I'm just going to go ahead and describe it. And yeah, so imagine that I'm online, right?
Again, drinking water.
Yeah, actually, close your eyes again. Close your eyes one more time.
Getting the bandana.
All right.
Just a flannel.
I do this a lot, or I conceptualize this cool idea, and I need to explain it to you by whispering it softly.
Go ahead.
All right. So imagine you're playing Animal Crossing, right? And you're thinking to yourself, "Yeah, my town is pretty cool, but I would love to see what my friends are building." And that is where the community system comes in. So imagine that Nintendo had built this sort of server-based ability, or the server-based system that would allow you to save your, town to the cloud. So that way, if I wanted to go see your town, for instance, I could just go there, You don't even have to be online, you don't have to be in the town or anything. And I know what you're probably thinking. Well, Alec, if that was the case, wouldn't it be really easy for you to just go to my town, dig a bunch of holes, and then leave? That is where the added functionality of the police station comes into play. Because we all know that the police station in Animal Crossing is not really too much of a police station. Yeah, you have Booker and Copper there, but there's not really much.
Taking off my bandana.
They don't really do much outside of just being there. And I think it would be really cool to sort of lend itself to the idea of this online community that, let's say if I traveled to the police station, I could set myself certain permissions for people to have access to while I'm not there. So let's say if I'm offline and someone wants to go dig a bunch of holes in my, in my town, if they're caught doing that, they'll get arrested by Booker and Copper and kicked out of the town. And then I'll be notified the next time I get online. So
You just get they get bopped out of there. Like, no, get out of here. Who do you think you are?
Basically, what I'm saying is I want all of my friends to get arrested.
Okay. What about this? They accidentally dig something up and then they just get bopped out of there.
Yes. Well, you could also have like a billboard, because there's a billboard usually next to the train station, and there you can actually see like the rules of the town, and that would kind of sort of increase the sense of community around the town. And I think it would also be cool, like with the idea of communities, is that maybe you and your friend want to team up and build a community together. So that way you have your town and your friend's town, and you guys are progressing and whatnot, and then you have this like bazaar or market in the center of it all. And the more you guys progress, the more you guys contribute to building up this market, and maybe you unlock stuff like a shoe shop, or you know, like a bigger Tom and Nook shop, and you know what I mean? Like just more Nookling Junction and stuff like that. And I think it would be cool to have an option for that as well. So that is what I would think would be cool as far as online multiplayer goes. I do agree with you as well, Proxence, that I think integration with Pocket Camp would be awesome. And let me preface this by saying this is something that got super misconstrued with the video that I made a couple months ago, but more integration with Pocket Camp doesn't necessarily mean that I'm also for the idea of microtransactions in Animal Crossing. I don't think the two are mutually exclusive. I think they can exist on their own, you know? And I think more integration with Pocket Camp would be cool. Maybe have like some sort of reward for booting up the app that you can transfer to the game. Stuff like that. I am definitely not vying for, you know, pay-to-win mechanics being introduced into a console Animal Crossing.
It'll be Animal Crossing Switch Camp.
Please. You're not helping me, Proxence. They already got...
Okay, no, sorry. Animal Crossing New Camp City.
Oh, wait. What if
Amiibo
Animal
Fest.
Crossing... Wait. No, never mind.
Wait, what was it? Amiibo yeah, Amiibo. Okay, so
Yeah, Amiibo
Animal
Festival.
Crossing, New Camp City Amiibo Festival. That'll be the name of the Switch game. Deluxe.
New.
Featuring
Proxence.
and Dante from the Devil May Cry series.
Funky mode included. This could go on forever.
Also featuring Knuckles.
Oh my god. Yeah, so honestly, I think more social features in any capacity is really what I want from Animal Crossing. It is indeed a very soothing single-player experience in its own right, but I think you can also benefit greatly from adding that ability to play with others easier. New Leaf can feel so lonely or so isolated at times, and I remember thinking to myself on countless occasions how cool it would be to be able to travel to someone else's town, whether they be a friend or a stranger, and just walk around and explore what kind of cool things the community is doing with their towns. So I think that would be something that's really, really cool. What?
That's just lonely experience.
That was
in
me
New
playing
Leaf.
New Leaf.
Yes. Just imagine it's raining down on Alec.
It was me just alone in the
black
dark
and white filter.
on my bed playing on my 3DS, wishing I had friends. So there's a couple more games on our list. I don't really have much to say about these, but perhaps you will. The next one on our list is going to be Shin Megami Tensei 5.
Shin Megami Tensei 5.
I've never played the series, so I have zero to say about it, to be honest. And I never really, I don't know anything about it at all.
I never played it, but I watched it. Because we're content creators and we can watch people play games too, you know? But the latest game in the Megami Tensei series was Persona Q2. For those who don't know, the Persona series is actually part of the part of the Megami Tensei series. Shin Megami Tensei, on the other hand, is separate of that. It's like it's in it. Okay, so they're all in there, okay? They're all in the Megami Tensei series, and basically Shin Megami Tensei 5 is going to be pretty darn good. if you've never played a Shin Megami Tensei game, I do recommend going and looking at a sort of history about it.
If you're implying something, I don't know what you mean because I've never seen anything Shin Megami related.
Basically, watch a video about it and get some history behind it, because it does help you to understand the series. And as a game, I'm really hoping what they do on the Switch is a bit better than the 3DS games. Because I'm gonna be honest, and I didn't play them, but I watched them, and they didn't seem that interesting to me on this 3DS. Especially Shin Megami Tensei 4, it just seemed kind of stale. Like, it had a good story, but it seems stale to me. So I hope what they do with Shin Megami Tensei 5 is a little bit more spunky, you know? It's got more pizzazz. It's got some... like, you see it walking around the corner, and you're like, ooh, that's a pretty darn cool game. I'm gonna buy that.
That's a darn good looking game right there. I want it. I want it.
I want it.
Stick it in my Switch.
Okay, hold up. But yeah, I'm excited for it.
All right. Well, Proxence is excited, so I think that's reason enough for everyone else to be as well. So next on our list, Bayonetta 3. So, to be quite honest, I've actually not yet completed Bayonetta 1. I made some progress on my flight to E3 this past year. For like the 2 or 3 hours that I was in the air, I was playing Bayonetta 1. And it's really, really good. It feels like top-notch hack and slash, style game. And who's it developed by? Platinum Games, I think, is the developer for Bayonetta, historically. Someone can fact-check me on that if I'm wrong. But whoever the developer is behind Bayonetta, I know makes some pretty good stuff. And I like me some hack and slash, and Bayonetta 3, if it's anything like the first two, is probably going to be just like the epitome.
Platinum Games.
It is? Oh, okay, good.
Platinum.
Okay, good. My memory serves me correctly. Yay! I'm not wrong. But yeah, I think I'm excited to see what it ends up becoming, but I probably won't touch it until I'm actually done playing through Bayonetta 1 and 2. But just to kind of talk about the game mechanics a little bit, it was really fun. It was really fun. I enjoyed my time with it so far. Oh man, maybe I'll play that after the stream is over.
is that hashtag ad?
It's not actually.
Okay. Just making sure.
It's with my own monies.
All right. Well, I liked games too. Games were good, and Bayonetta 3, probably good as games prior to that.
Did you ever play the first two?
Yeah. Hashtag ad.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah.
Wow. What did you think of them?
Okay, so I'm not that into gory games, but as a hack and slash, it was fun. Like, I don't know. It wasn't my aesthetic of a game, and I guess that comes partly because it's like a rated M game, and I don't really play rated M games, but it seemed cool. It seemed enjoyable. It seemed like something that you can play on a long flight and have fun with.
Well, all right.
So, I think Bayonetta 3 is going to be another one of those have fun on a flight games.
Yeah, that's what it's been to me at this point. Man, I feel so bad. I need to play through it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's cool.
Next on our list, probably one of the most hyped up games for the year, Metroid Prime 4. What are your thoughts on that, Proxence?
You know what's up with Metroid Prime 4? I'll answer that question. Cool stuff is up. Apparently the release date got leaked, by the way.
I stay away from those.
Yeah, same. But nonetheless, it's gonna be a pretty darn cool game. And that's because A, it's Metroid. B, it's Metroid Prime. C, it's Metroid Prime 4! I split up the title into different parts and tried to make something funny out of it. Nonetheless, look, Metroid Prime games have always been pretty fun, even if they were a little bit more stale on some ends. People who have played, you know what I'm talking about. it's been fun. It's been enjoyable to just play through them, and I feel like Metroid Prime 4 isn't going to be any different, especially on the Nintendo Switch. There's going to be a lot you can do with it. There's going to be a lot of stuff you can have fun with, and I'm guessing it's going to be a pretty big game. It's Metroid. So, that's my opinion. It's gonna be cool. I'm excited. Can't wait to play.
So, I know for the duration of this discussion, we've been hearing Proxence making his own sort of confessions, if you will. Most notably, never having owned a Wii U.
I
will remember
had a Wii
that.
either.
Oh my god. It's getting worse. It's progressing.
Look, I didn't have money to just hop around and be like, yo, I'm gonna buy a Wii and a Wii U.
All right then. I don't know what to do with this information, so I'm just gonna save that for later. But, I have a confession of my own. I've actually never played any of the Metroid Prime games fully.
What did you just say?
Except for Metroid Prime Hunters for the DS, which I know is not it's not a main series. You don't know what that game is?
Fake game, not real.
Okay, I'm gonna go a little bit on a Metroid Prime Hunters was really good. It was a launch title for the original DS, and it was basically like just like extra lore, I guess, to kind of sort of round out the universe in Metroid. I don't know exactly where it fits on the timeline, but it was a really fun game. But that's the only one that I've ever played fully. I remember renting Metroid Prime 3 Corruption for the Wii, I want to say, and I really enjoyed my time with that one.
Have one of those.
So you haven't played it either. Also, yes, it did have online multiplayer as well.
I didn't own one, but I had a friend who had one, so I used his console.
To kind of answer what Cliff is saying, there was online multiplayer present in Metroid Prime Hunters for the DS, and it was great fun. There was a ranking system and everything, and you could play as like all of the different bounty hunters. So you had Silex in there, you had Samus, you had Trace as well. I'm surprised that I remember some of these names. But it was really fun. As far as what my expectations for Metroid Prime 4 are, I don't know that I have any. The only thing that I really hope is I do know that Metroid is historically a game that focuses a lot on building atmosphere. So whenever you walk into an environment in a Metroid game, there's going to be a lot of visual storytelling, so there's not going to be a whole lot of dialogue or anything most of the time. There's not really going to be a whole bunch of combat. But I hope that Metroid Prime 4 kind of sticks to that sort of attitude, because I will say that, you know, despite the fact that I've never played a Metroid game before, if Metroid Prime 4 it seems to be more heavily focused on the combat side and making it more of like a, you know, Hollywood AAA explosions everywhere kind of game, I feel like that would let me down just a little bit. It would disappoint me in just a little bit, just because Metroid is so good at, you know, using music and lighting and environments to kind of tell a story rather than relying on anything else. So that would be what I would hope from a Metroid Prime 4.
It's all about the aesthetic. It's not about any of that other stuff. It's the aesthetic.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. So, anyways,
is it time for
yes, it is.
So I don't think we should talk about the possible January Direct, just because people know what's going to happen with that. Yeah, prediction.
Yeah, I mean, for the January Direct, I don't really think that people should get their hopes up too much, because if I had to predict anything, I would say that it's probably going to be very light, talking about a bunch of stuff that we already know about, probably showing extended trailers for like Yoshi's Crafted World, Daemon X Machina, and perhaps some 3DS games, which I thought would have been dead a year ago, by the way. Possibly some Fire Emblem 3 Houses, and maybe like a small free DLC add-on for like Odyssey or Mario Kart or something. That's usually what the January Directs have in them anyway. So, I wouldn't expect super huge reveals or anything from it. So we can go ahead and just skip over that now that I've said that.
So it is time to hop into the fact of, okay, so thus far we have discussed the actual factual stuff that's been interactually that
Yes.
I tried to rhyme.
Yes.
It's not easy to rhyme. It's like you gotta be sublime, but sometimes it's on the dime, but you never hit the right time.
So,
Basically, we've talked about stuff that's already been stated, so now we're gonna talk about stuff that we hope happens. Yeah.
yeah. Now it's time to get to the juicy stuff. You know, the good stuff. Our
like a nice
predictions.
Steak.
Predictions, what we want to see from Nintendo in 2019. Now, for me personally, I'm going to start with my realistic expectations first because, you know, gotta set your expectations, right? And save my wild list. I'm going to save my traditional wild list of crazy dream reveals for last. But starting things off, what do you think of the idea of DLC for Smash Brothers in 2019? Do you think we'll see anything beyond Joker?
Of course. I mean, there's no doubt about it. You can't just like give us Joker and be like, "Hey, that's all you get. Have fun."
Who do you think it would be? That's the real question.
Dante from the Devil May Cry series, Jibanyan from the Yokai Watch series, Okay, here actually though, it's probably gonna be stuff from.
Wait, I was taking those as actual. That would be cool though.
Yeah, no, but those
I would
two-
love to
those
see
two-
Dante and Jibanyan. That'd be awesome.
That'd be awesome. I don't know.
Oh, B-Man says Jibanyan with all neon costumes.
Yeah, when you think about it, our hopes should probably be in stuff from Japanese companies and Japanese gaming companies because, you know, Sakurai, he's friends with people in Japan, not as much people in the US. So consider that. Like, who is Sakurai
Oh,
friends
that's a
with?
good point. You know, now that I think about it, now that you say that, I think all of the DLC for Smash 4 were from Japanese companies.
Most of them, yeah.
Which
Pretty
one
sure.
wasn't?
Let me see.
You had like Roy, Ryu, Corrin, Bayonetta.
Smash.
Well, I guess Bayonetta. Is Platinum Games Japanese? I don't think they are.
Yeah, I think so.
Are they really? Oh no.
I mean, yeah, they're basically all from Japanese companies.
Wow.
So, don't get your hopes up for anything from a non-Japanese company, like, I don't know,
Well then.
Master Chief.
That. Well, there goes my list. That's it. That was a good discussion, everyone. I'm going home. Have a good rest of your night, guys. I'll see you later.
I emphasize that so perfectly. He's gone now, everybody. I'm taking over. So,
So, you were saying, what is it, Jibanyan? Who was the other one? Dante from Devil May Cry series. Is that all you want, Proxence? Is that all you want in Smash Brothers as DLC?
okay, let me be honest. I'd also like to see the guy from that Inazuma 11 series. I'd also like to see let me think. You know how Japan has a bunch of mascots? Let's just get all of those in Smash. You know who else? We should, Toon Link. Forget Toon Link. We should get Toon Zelda and Toon.
Ganondorf.
Yeah, that'd be okay.
That would actually be kind of cool. Because he's so wildly different than Ocarina of Time.
Guy who sells stuff in Zelda. What's his name?
Beetle.
Beetle. Toon Beetle. Imagine how he would fight. He just like crouches. He's like.
Alright. So that's your list? Really?
Sarcastically, yes. I don't actually have a list. I'm cool with what we've got in Smash right now.
Okay. I see. So you're a liar.
What do you
can't
mean?
you can't tell me that there's no one else you want in this game.
You're asking me for my true character that I'd like to see in this game.
Well, if you
You
don't,
sure?
I think my
Are
list is
you
going to
sure?
overshadow yours.
I want to see Bakugan and Beyblade characters.
All
Okay,
right then.
actually though, give your list. I don't have anybody else that I want.
Wow.
Honestly.
This feels weird to me because I always have a list in tow for
Should-
times
should
where
I
I
say-
want to talk about who I want to see in Smash Brothers.
I mean, I'm talking about game companies because they're not going to do anything from like an anime or something like that.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's something Sakurai said he's not going to do. It's not going to be a manga character. So I can't say Goku because Goku's not going to happen. I can't say Midoriya from Boku no Hero Academia. My Hero Academia. I can't say that because that's an anime character. I can't say Naruto because who wants Naruto in Smash?
Weebs, that's who.
So yeah, go ahead.
All right. So, my list of Smash Brothers DLC fighters all come from video games of history's past. So, number 1 on my list, or I should guess, should I say number 5? I don't know. Starting off my list, Cooking Mama. That's right. I would love to see Cooking Mama added as a fighter for Smash Brothers Ultimate as DLC, because it would be like, think about it. She has so many different opportunities for like cooking or, you know, baking style inspired movesets, and you can only
cake.
exactly, and you could use your imagination and come up with a pretty cool looking Final Smash based around Cooking Mama, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a series that not a lot of people know about, which is a shame because it's really, really fun. But I feel like Cooking Mama would be just the perfect example of one of those silly characters that Sakurai adds in that, in essence, is silly, but ends up being really cool. And I think Cooking Mama would have so many opportunities to have a really cool and fun and unique moveset. So,
You know how Simon has that axe thing that he throws up and it hits you?
oh my god, she would throw like
She would
pans
throw
or
a frying
something.
pan.
Or what if her grab was like kneading the dough, but instead of the dough, it's like your opponent? I don't know. Or she, like,
kneads, like,
her
"You're gonna
sides-
get pounded."
Her side smash is like a roller, and she just smacks you with it or something. You see what I mean? Like, you could sit here and come up with
Yeah.
funny concepts for like her entire moveset, and they would all be really good. But next on my list is something that I've been wanting for years now. Same with Cooking Mama, but I've been wanting these guys for years, and that is the Chorus Kids from Rhythm Heaven. I think that would be awesome, and I feel like it's a very, very lonely existence for the Ice Climbers to be the only fighter on the roster that includes multiple fighters at the same time. And I think the Chorus Kids would be cool. Same sort of thing where I think they would have a lot of unique opportunities for like rhythm-based moves. I don't know if it would necessarily be a fun mechanic, but, you know, something to consider. Maybe for their final smash or something.
Aren't
But
there 3 of them?
there are 3 of them, yes.
Yeah, that might be I don't know, that might be cool to like see how they work.
I think it would be
'Cause
cool, and I don't think they have to be as big as Ice Climbers, because they're
Yeah.
all, like, you know, basically
Make them
children.
ant-sized.
Yeah, they're like really tiny. So if you put all 3 of them together, and they'll be like this traveling pack of singing chorus kids that are ready to lay the smackdown on you at any moment, and also sing. So I think chorus kids would be cool. And then this next one on my list is really funny because you were talking about it just a couple minutes ago, and I know that pretty much everyone listening is going to roast me for this, but I wanted to put this on here. I wanted to put this on here just because I think it would be cool, much in the same vein that Snake was cool. But I think Master Chief from Halo would be awesome to see in Smash Brothers. Obviously, it's not going to be
here.
It's not going to be anywhere near as a rated M as the Halo series is, obviously. But I think it would be cool to have like this super soldier guy just walking around and beating people with his.
Here's something to
weapons.
consider. First off, right? It's made by Bungie, right? Bungie made Halo.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's not coming to a Switch.
Wait, hold on. Wait, no. Wait. 343 Industries actually has the rights to the Halo series right now.
Didn't Bungie make the 1, 2, and 3?
Bungie made 1, 2, 3. I think they made Halo Reach as well as what's that other one? Halo ODST. But I don't.
Yes, yeah. 343 has the thing right now, but parent organization's Microsoft, so they're never gonna let it happen on a Switch.
Well, here's the thing. What was it? Phil Spencer said on Twitter. I mean, for as much as that's worth, I guess. But Phil Spencer said on Twitter that he's totally okay with having Microsoft and properties in a Smash Brothers game. So, who knows, right? I mean, we got Joker of all characters, and I feel like Atlas is one of those developers that's always really protective of their IPs.
Platform.
So, if that can happen, then I'm almost positive that pretty much anything from Microsoft could.
Yeah,
but speaking
but
of,
also, it's the whole U.S. thing because it was made by a U.S. company, so it's never gonna be in Smash.
yeah, well, crap. It's hard for me to think of any American developed characters that are in Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
Crap, that's a good point. Anyways, regardless of the powers that be, the final one on my list, and I'm going to go ahead and let you guys just call this one as it is, because this is a character that I've been asking for years and years and years, and I'm still holding out hope that it's going to happen someday. Reggie did say that the rest of the list is going to be stuff that'll surprise us, so we'll see. But my number one character on my list of characters that I want to see added as DLC for Smash Brothers. Is this enough build up yet? Are you guys ready? All right.
Just say it already.
All right, fine. Banjo-Kazooie. I want to see Banjo-Kazooie. Excuse me?
I'm kidding.
I want to see Banjo-Kazooie added as a fighter in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate in 2019 or 2020. That would be amazing.
You know who would be better than Banjo-Kazooie?
Who?
My boy, Conker, from Conker's Bad Fur Day.
All right. No. That's just a flat out.
It has a 92 on Metacritic. That's better than Banjo-Kazooie.
Oh, yeah, the Metacritic. Ooh. When are the Metacritic awards happening? Proxence?
When are the...
That's right. But I think Banjo-Kazooie would be a really cool character to see added. It would, like, the thing about Banjo-Kazooie that makes it such an interesting addition or possibility for me is that in the original Banjo-Kazooie games, Banjo and Kazooie, over the course of your playthrough through the game, they learn new abilities and new moves as you move along. So, realistically, I don't really think there has to be that much work that would go into interpreting that into a Smash Brothers moveset. Not to mention, you could, build a final Smash around some of their partner mechanics in Banjo-Tooie. Because in Banjo-Tooie, they were able to separate from each other. And if I was to use my imagination for just a couple seconds, I would probably say that a final Smash would probably look something like, Kazooie hops out of the backpack, and then Banjo throws you in the bag, and then they both just clobber on his backpack for a couple seconds, and then you, just fly off the screen. That would be my first concept for a Banjo-Kazooie Final Smash. And I think it would be really cool to see them added as a character. I don't know how likely that it is, but, a man can dream. But I filed this under my realistic expectations because Reggie did say that the rest of the list was picked by Nintendo and that the rest of them are going to surprise us, much like Joker did. So if Joker is any sort of example for what we should expect from the rest of the reveals for the DLC fighters, I think Banjo-Kazooie is still likely. I think that's still a possibility. So, do you want to pick something from your list now, Proxence? Now that I've gone on my rant?
Dude, I already told you my list.
Well, your list from predictions, that is.
Predictions?
Or are we just going based off of mine?
So here's the thing, right? My predictions, most of them are gonna fall in dream reveals, but there is one that I'm gonna drop in the predictions because it's reasonable, it's good. My prediction is Yokai Watch 4. Localized.
I think that is entirely realistic. I can see why you filed that there.
Yeah, because, okay, look, it's getting released in Japan soon, and I think they're already considering localization a bit more quickly than they did with the other games, so I have a feeling that it's going to come out sooner rather than later. So as long as it doesn't get super delayed in the Japanese release, then it'll come out for the US.
I think that's possible, especially with the growing market for Yokai Watch games in the West. I think that is definitely something that we should keep on our radar. So, continuing on my realistic expectations, I think we are going to be seeing Mario Kart.
Why did you emphasize realistic?
Well, because you said that was your last one for realistic. You said the rest of them were dream reveals. Anyways, continuing on that thought, I think that we are definitely going to be seeing Mario Kart Tour revealed at some point this year.
So what exactly is Mario Kart Tour?
So Mario Kart Tour was talked about during one of Nintendo's financial meetings sometime early 2018. I can't remember what month, but it was talked about. The title was revealed. There was no details that were explained further than that. And that leaves a lot of us guessing, like what should we expect from a Mario Kart on mobile? And what sort of things would it borrow from the original series, like on the consoles? And supposedly from that meeting, we're supposed to be seeing it in the next fiscal year, which ends in March, by the way. So if I had to take a guess, I don't think that we're actually going to be seeing it before March. I think it's going to get delayed, much like Super Mario Run did. Probably around September is probably when we're going to see that, if I had to take a guess. But Mario Kart Tour is another game where I made a whole entire video conceptualizing what we could see from a Mario Kart on mobile. But to sort of, explain it in a nutshell and long story short, I think if Mario Kart was to ever take a mobile approach, I think a Temple Run style template would be a good route to take because, well, here's the thing.
I disagree.
Here's the thing. It's not ideal for me either, but that's the only thing that comes to mind because a Mario Kart on mobile, Mario Kart is a game that is fast-paced, uses items, and I don't think it would benefit very much from, other mobile formulas like, use this energy and you can only play once every couple of hours because, you have to buy more orbs to contribute to your meter. You know what I mean? There are so many of those style games on mobile, and yeah. I don't know if that would mesh well with a Mario Kart game. And you can basically just take any sort of mobile game, apply that structure to Mario Kart, and I don't think it would make sense. The only thing that I can think of would be like a Temple Run style game where you swipe to take turns, you can use items. I don't know if it would work necessarily in multiplayer. There's there's no way that I would know how that would play out. But if I had to guess, that's the form that I could see Mario Kart for mobile taking. But, unless you have some sort of other idea that I haven't thought of, I think that's a good way to set my expectations for it.
I really don't have much ideas about what Mario Kart Tour is going to be like, so your reasoning stands, but I don't know how I feel about that.
I mean, I don't either. I think it would be cool, maybe, to have, events similar to how Super Mario Run does, where you can earn, exclusive cart customizations or something for like a limited time.
Maybe we could do like Pokemon Go, but this time it actually works when you're in your car.
Are you encouraging people to use their smart devices while they're driving?
No. Disclaimer. I'll pause for a second. Disclaimer. Please do not text while driving. This is an actual endangerment to yourself and anyone in your car and other cars around you. Please turn off your phone and put it to the side while you're driving. That text message can wait 10, 15, maybe even 40 minutes. So leave your phone to the side, get to where you need to go, and then you can use your phone while you're not in your vehicle.
For real. But I don't know. A lot of us are just kind of in the dark about Mario Kart Tour at the moment. I don't think anyone has a
you
real...
play Smash while driving?
No! This is a false narrative that was created during a live stream like a month or two ago. B-man causing trouble. But I don't think anybody really has a clear idea of what we should expect from a Mario Kart game on mobile. And I'm at the very least, I can say that I'm excited to see what it ends up being. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it'll be fun no matter what, unless Nintendo's... I don't know. It'll be fun.
I mean, to be honest, I felt the same way about a Mario game being on mobile, but Super Mario Run ended up making a lot of sense. It's not for me. I'm definitely not the target demographic for Super Mario Run, but I think it's a better interpretation of a 2D Mario game on mobile than I was anticipating it would be. So I'm sure Nintendo knows what they're doing when it comes to mobile development.
Yeah. So the next thing you're gonna mention is something that I'm interested in as well. So
oh yeah,
I'll hop. Yeah. I have the. Do you want? Is it okay if I mention it?
Sure. Yeah. Go ahead.
Pikmin 4.
Ah.
Yeah.
Ah.
I saw that on there, and I was like, hey, I'm excited for that one too. So the thing with Pikmin 4 is no one really knows when Nintendo is gonna give us Pikmin 4. It's been in development since 2015, which...
otherwise known as the Cretaceous period.
Yes, back when the dinosaurs still roamed the earth. Pikmin first started its development. Since then, we have gotten no update, besides some stuff here and there. It is still scheduled to be released on the Nintendo DS.
Oh my god, can you imagine? No, but this is a game that has been talked about a couple of times over the years, not to a degree of like giving us any sort of sense of what console it's going to be on, what form it's going to take, or what have you. But I remember in an interview like years ago, I can't remember what year this was at this point because I feel like I've been saying that for years, but this is something that Miyamoto has talked about in the past, saying that it is in development and that things are going along fine. But here we are, like in the year 2019. This is year 2 for the Nintendo Switch, and we've still heard nothing about Pikmin 4. This Pikmin 4 was first mentioned when the Wii U was still on the market, might I remind you. But it's so weird. Like, Pikmin 4 is such a mystery because I don't know if it's taking a long time, maybe because the studio that's working on it is working on other things, or maybe they're just running into some sort of hiccups along the way of the development process. I don't know what to take from that. And it's only just further mystifying the entity that is Pikmin 4. I would love to just see that revealed or shown off in any sort of capacity so I can stop wondering.
Here's what I think. Pikmin 4, I think, has been being developed by... what was it? It was Nintendo Entertainment Analysis and Development, Nintendo EAD, but then that got shut down and became Nintendo Entertainment Planning and Development. So I think the moment it got changed, it became a little like for Nintendo.
Yeah.
Because it was there and they had it, but the game's development got started when that division got ended.
Yeah.
So I think because of that, it was sort of difficult for them to transition from one to another. So maybe like the game is there. They have the code for it. I'm guessing it's at least 75% done. But I don't think they've had the chance to really take it and turn it into a Switch game. Or maybe they've just started it recently. But I think it'll come out eventually. I don't know if it'll be 2019, but I think it'll be the heavy hitter for 2020 if they start working on it fully.
I hope so, because my goodness, I would love to see a proper next-gen Pikmin game at this point. I mean, like, it's sort of grasping at straws here, but the only thing I would really want to see included in a new Pikmin game was just the inclusion of co-op again. You know, I think they did it well in Pikmin 3 and even Pikmin 2, and I think that would be a cool mechanic to introduce onto the Switch, especially since, number one, you can take it anywhere. Number two, that would introduce some interesting opportunities for online co-op as well. And number three, just the fact that you can, you know, use single Joy-Cons now with the Switch. I think that would benefit greatly from split-screen co-op or even online co-op. But that would be the only thing that I would want to see. If it's not there, it won't be the end of the world either, because Pikmin's always a good time. So, anyways, next on my list, though, and some people might consider this a dream reveal, but I consider this something that is likely. But I think that we'll see, and I'm not sure which. I included both, because I'm not sure which, but I think we'll see either a Paper Mario remaster or a reveal of a new game. So, it's been a couple years since Paper Mario Color Splash, and it feels like that game got very mixed reception from the community, and in my opinion, Color Splash was a good game. I wouldn't say it's the best in the series, absolutely not, but it was a good game. Came out a couple years ago, and I would love to see a new Paper Mario developed for the Switch. And to be honest, I like the Paper Mario series a lot more than I do the Mario and Luigi games that we feel like that we're getting almost all too often. It almost feels like there's always a Mario and Luigi game that's coming out.
Dude, honestly, there's a lot of those.
I know. I mean, it's not to say that they're bad games or anything, or that I wish that there wasn't, but like, who's developing these? Like, they're cranking them out like it's nothing.
it would be really nice if they could take these and put them on the Switch instead of the 3DS, because, you know, the 3DS's momentum is sort of like, hey, we're going. Woo, Switch came out. Oh, it's a cliff. Ah!
And we can go ahead and make a public service announcement, you guys. As much as I love my 3DS, I think it's time that we abandon it at this point. I don't want to be upset again at Luigi's Mansion being remastered for 3DS, other than Switch. Proxence!
Alec.
Oh, Yokai Watch 4. Yeah.
No. Yokai Watch 4 is coming
out. Oh no, 3. My bad. I got my number wrong.
Here we go. I give you guys permission to abandon your 3DS after you have purchased Yokai Watch 3 on February 8th, 2019. Once you purchase that game and play through it, you can put your 3DS in its final resting place and make it have a gracious departure.
There you go. Yeah.
Into its drawer.
But yeah, I mean, I think at this point it would just make the most sense to start developing more for the Switch. But to go back to what I was originally saying, I went off on a little bit of a tangent there. I think it's likely that we'll see a Paper Mario remaster or reveal at some point this year. I would love to see a remaster of the first two, and then maybe like lead that into like a new game, similar to what they did with Bayonetta 1 and 2, and then the reveal for 3. I think that would be awesome. And realistically, I just want to play Paper Mario Thousand Year Door again. That is such a beautiful game. And I would love to see it interpreted into some HD graphics. Anyways.
And then you have one more thing here, and I have no idea what this is.
You know,
never heard of it.
The thing
never
is,
seen it, never even seen the name of it. It looks like something. It looks like one of those games that was probably developed in Japan and it had like 2,000 sales. And those 2,000 sales were diehard fans who were just like, "Oh, I like it. It looks good."
Hey man. All right. So moving on from Paper Mario, the next game on my list.
See what I mean?
The next game on my list And I'm fully aware that this is very much a niche title, but I would still love to see it regardless. And I think it's likely, just because they're porting so many Wii U games over. But Fatal Frame, Maiden of Blackwater, I would love to see a port for that. Fatal Frame is a game series that mostly has an audience over in Japan. And it's a good game series, by the way. Plus,
Never played it.
it's a horror game series. It takes place in Japan, and basically the premise is you have this camera that's able to see spirits that are roaming the world around you, and your camera is also your weapon. So you can, find certain grades of film, and it does damage to the ghosts that you see. It's a really fun game, and it's a really, really nice horror game as well. But the reason why I included it on this list is, number one, it's a Wii U game, and there's been a lot of ports of Wii U games moving over to the Switch. Number two, probably the biggest reason for me including this on this list is how many horror games do we actually have on the Switch?
Dude, we've got
If you say Resident Evil, I'm going to dismiss that.
Resident Evil.
That's the games that we have, the Resident Evil games that we have on the Switch are not horror games. They are action games. Pretty much everything since Resident Evil 4 has been more action-y.
I don't disagree.
Exactly. So that's what I'm thinking, like, I want a proper horror game on my Switch, and I feel like Fatal Frame would be perfect for that, especially since it was, included in the Direct for Smash Bros. Ultimate a couple months ago. They showed off some of the assist trophies and stuff from Fatal Frame that are being included in the game, so...
Wait, there is a horror game. It's called Hello Neighbor.
Oh my god! I totally forgot about that until you said that. Alright, well then, I've been disproven. There you go. Fatal Frame is never happening. But it's a good game series. If you like horror, I think you would really enjoy Fatal Frame. Especially Maiden of Blackwater, because it does a lot of that sort of visual storytelling, and its aesthetic is just eerie, which I like. I know it's a very unpopular opinion, but I really like me some horror. I really like me some spooks and some scares.
Well. It is time.
Oh, it's time.
It's time. So I think with this section, it's gonna be a little bit more rapid fire than the last one because we got a bunch of stuff.
Maybe.
Right.
So for those listening, we are now transitioning into our dream reveals for Nintendo in 2019. And I'm not going to brag or anything, but I'm just going to say that my list is kind of spicy. So if you want to rapid fire through yours, you can definitely do that. But I have some things to say about the stuff that I have on my list. So if you want to start, you can go ahead.
So here's the issue, right? Your first thing on your list is the first thing on my list. So
all right, fine. Well, we'll just do that one jointly, and then you can rapid fire through the rest of yours.
Okay, here we go. So the first thing we'd like to talk about is the next Nintendo console that could be released. And as you guys know, they released the NES Classic, they released the SNES Classic, but you know what came after the SNES? The big boy.
The big boy.
Good one. The best one. Nintendo. Visual Boy? Visual Boy? Visual Boy.
Nintendo Virtual Boy, let's go!
Virtual Boy, that's what it was called. But really, that was the Nintendo 64, and Alec and I are both hoping that in the future we get some form of information about the Nintendo 64 Classic, since, they've had a bunch of news lately where they were patenting stuff regarding the Nintendo 64, so it'd be really, 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 really cool if we could get a classic version of that with a bunch of awesome games like Donkey Kong, Mario Kart, Super Smash Bros. Conker's Bad Fur Day. There's so much. What else do you think, Alec?
So, I think being that Nintendo seems to be very against the idea of a virtual console, I think it's very likely that we'll see some sort of form of a Nintendo 64 Classic, because not only would that sell gangbusters, right? And I feel like I've been saying that word a lot today, but not only would that sell gangbusters, but it would also be...
I don't think that is that good of a word.
It would also be a good alternative for the Virtual Console. It's definitely not going to be something that will replace it. Please, Nintendo, bring the Virtual Console over to the Nintendo Switch. I beg you. But if we were to see a Nintendo 64 Classic, there are a plethora of games to choose from for this thing. Starting off with, of course, the wonderful and amazing classic Super Mario 64. I think that would be cool to see.
How could I forget?
Did you not? So, okay, let's do this, actually. I'm going to paint another picture in your mind for all the games that could be included on the Nintendo 64.
Where's the shirt?
While you get your bandana prepared, I want you all to remember that you could, with the Super Nintendo and the Nintendo Entertainment System, the most amount of controllers you could connect to those things was 2.
Here we go, bandana on.
So you could only connect 2 controllers to the SNES Mini for whatever reason. So you really couldn't play 4-player Mario Kart, even though that game was a 4-player game originally. And I thought that was a strange limitation, but if we were to see some sort of form of the Nintendo 64 Mini, I would love to see them add the compatibility or the ability to add
For more controllers.
like to plug in 4 controllers into the thing, because a couple of the titles on this list that I'm about to describe to you are 4-player games, and I would love to see that included in a Nintendo 64 Mini. Anyways,
it would be nice if they could give you like an adapter for it, where one of your ports is still 1, but with the other one you plug it in and it becomes 3 for 1.
yeah, or like something like that. Just allow me to be able to play these games in 4-player. Anyways,
Yeah, or just put 2 extra ports on the back.
So I want you all to close your eyes again, and I'm going to describe to you 10 great games that we could see. I'm just going to pick 10. I know they usually pick more, but 10 really good games that they can include on a Nintendo 64 Classic. Are you ready?
I'm actively not looking.
All right. So number 1, obviously, Super Mario 64. Number 2, Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time. Obviously, it's another given. Number 3, GoldenEye 007, which did have multiplayer, which was 4-player as well. Number 4, Mario Kart 64. Number 5, Banjo-Kazooie. Number 6, Star Fox 64. Number 7, Donkey Kong 64. Number 8, Pokemon Snap. Number 9, Conker's Bad Fur Day. And number 10, Paper Mario. Just imagine. Like, there's so much more than that, but I think that's like a good 10.
You forgot the actual best Legend of Zelda game on the Nintendo 64?
Majora's Mask. Yeah, that's another one that could be on there.
That was better than Ocarina of Time, bud.
You know, it would be cool to see also Yoshi's Story, Pokemon Stadium, Pokemon Snap, Jet Force Gemini. I remember being a good game for a lot of people. Even any of the Mario Party games from the 64 would be awesome to see. Mario, well, I don't know if that's actually a thing. Mario Tennis would be cool to see, the original one. And just like there's so much good content to pick from for the Nintendo 64 that I feel like if you were to add that 4-player functionality for this thing, that would only serve it to be like the best mini console ever, and that would do well to capitalize on the bad press that Sony's mini classic consoles are getting. So that would just be the ultimate slap in the face, because Nintendo's already doing classic consoles well, and I feel like a Nintendo 64 Mini would just really exemplify that.
Yeah, anyway. Honestly, Sony's bad press with that is gonna make it so much easier for Nintendo to just hop in here and be like, hey, you know,
hey, this is how you actually do it.
Alright. So, time for me to hop in and do some of my rapid fire, and then it'll be your turn.
Yes, because all mine are spicy.
Dream reveals. First one that I'd like to see is an actual virtual console on the Nintendo Switch. Somehow working this into the whole online paid premium where, you know, you got the NES games, but it'd be nice to see some SNES games. It'd be nice to see some 64 games.
Some GameCube games? Hello? Yes?
Jinx, you owe me a soda, bud.
All right. I'm sending it to you right now. Give me 1 second.
Okay. Just give me $2.50 and I'll go buy one. Okay, so that would be fantastic to see. It'd be really nice to see a sort of 2-in-1 game type thing where we get a remaster of Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time as a bundle. Because, you know, we had that on the 3DS where we had them individually, but it'd be really cool to see them in super duper HD on the Switch as a bundle type thing. Because Nintendo's made enough money off of the 2 games, they could do a bundle with them and they'd still be okay.
Probably.
That'd be fantastic to see because they're both so fun. Majora's Mask is obviously better, but they're so fun.
Ooh. I feel like that would cause some arguments if you said that in public.
Majora's Mask is better than Ocarina of Time.
Ooh, he said it again!
Disagree? Prove me wrong, bud. What's another one that I'd like to see? I mean, obviously it'd be nice to see some other Legend of Zelda games get remade, especially that one where you use the sword.
Like all of them?
The one where you could use the Wii as a sword.
Oh, Twilight Princess? Skyward Sword?
I think it was Skyward Sword. Is that the one that had the cool bird thingy?
Yes.
Yeah, that one. That'd be cool to see. Like HD on Switch using a Joy-Con as the sword instead.
Uh-huh.
It'd be cool if we could get some topic that I'm gonna skip because I know you're gonna talk about it. You've got more energy for it than me.
Oh, probably.
Honestly, something else that'd be interesting is have we ever really gotten that big of a Game Boy Color or Game Boy Advance Virtual Console?
There was a few Game Boy Advance games, if I remember correctly, on the Virtual Console for the Wii and the Wii U.
It would be nice to see that on Switch, you know?
I don't think that's outside of the realm of possibility either, because there's some already on the 3DS eShop.
Yeah, they're never gonna make classic versions of those because they have screens, which means that they're bigger costs and all that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, if you say, I think if you say it like that, it makes sense.
Because putting a screen on something makes it instantly more expensive. If you buy a phone without a screen, dude, that's like $20. But when you put a screen on something, it makes it more expensive. So I don't think they're ever gonna make classic versions of those. But it'd be nice to see them on a virtual console on the Switch. That's a dream reveal.
True.
Another dream reveal would be obviously to see a remake for Gen 4 Pokemon, and I know that's a big dream reveal for a lot of people because Gen 4 was huge. People loved it. Diamond and Pearl, Platinum, such fantastic games, like so good.
I don't get the appeal.
Really?
I'm sorry. I don't know. I didn't really like 4 or 5 all that much. I know that's like I know that's something that'll get me, you know,
Here we go.
yelled at, but
Nani anata o shiwashita? Or another way to say that is Kikitorenakata. Kikitorenakata. Basically, what did you just say?
I said, no, just kidding. See, Omega agrees with me.
Aaron, what are you doing? Gen 4 was such a good gen. Gen 5 was pretty good too. That's Pokemon Black and White, right? Dude, honestly, a remake of Pokemon Black and White would be pretty cool too. Diamond and Pearl was great, but Black and White was so much better. Honestly, Black and White 2. Black and White 2, not Black and White 1.
Here's my thing with that though. If they were to continue the trend of Let's Go games, I would much prefer those interpretations over like remasters of like main series games. Just throwing that out there. I would like to see like a Let's Go Johto. That'd be cool.
Interesting opinion. I will take it into account, put it in a bucket, and toss that bucket away.
Wow. What can I say? I mean, I really like the way that they did Gen 1 with Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee.
I actually don't disagree. It'd be interesting. But maybe cut down a little bit and make it actually more Pokemon-esque. Instead of so integrated with Pokemon Go where you sort of lose some of that appeal.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Add a little bit more depth to it.
Yeah. Another reveal obviously is Persona 5. I would love to play Persona 5 on the Switch. It'd be so much fun. Like Persona 5 on the PS4 is fun, but imagine taking the game, putting it in a cartridge, and putting that cartridge in your Nintendo Switch, and then taking that game wherever you are. You could be here, you could be in
Guatemala, you could be in Papua New Guinea, you could be in Vietnam, you could be in Latvia, because that's a country too. And you could play Persona 5 without needing to haul your big PS4 with you. That would be fantastic. That would be fantastic.
I agree. I don't think that's outside of the realm of possibility either, considering that we're getting Joker added to Smash Brothers in like a couple months, I would imagine. And I think that would be a nice segue into releasing a Persona 5 port for the Switch.
Yeah.
Does that pretty much round out your list?
I mean, there's some other small stuff, but really for the big ones, that's basically it. So I hand the wheel to you.
All right.
Well, we're still falling off the cliff, by the way.
All right. I want you all to buckle in. Got some spicy things headed your way. So,
Buckle.
we're going to skip the Nintendo 64 thing because we both had that on our list. But starting off my list of dream reveals. And actually, I was torn on whether or not I should put this on the dream reveals section or my more realistic expectations for 2019. But number one on my list is Detective Pikachu Switch Remaster to coincide with the release of the movie coming out later this year. I think it would be cool. I think it would be a good way to revitalize the branding of Detective Pikachu as a whole, because I feel like that game flew under a lot of people's radar. And even with the release of the new trailer, like a couple months ago, a lot of my friends would come up to me and be like, "Hey, have you heard of Detective Pikachu?" And I would tell them, like, "Yeah, I've played the game before," you know, or I'm in the middle of playing the game. And they would kind of look at me and be like, "There's a game for this? What?" And I was like, "Yeah, it came out like 3 years ago." So
Wait, that's how old it is?
yeah, it came out in
You mean,
Japan
do you
like
mean yeah.
for the English one, I think it came out like early 2018 or something like that. But I think it'd be cool to see like an HD remaster of Detective Pikachu for the Switch. It's been a pretty good game so far, is what I've played from it, and it would be awesome to be able to take that on the go, especially in HD. So that would be awesome. Number 2 would be Skyward Sword Remastered. So, I'm gonna let that simmer for a second. So, Nintendo has this history of pretty much every console generation remastering or HD-ifying one of the games from Zelda's past, and the Wii U actually had 2. But the next logical step in remastering one of 3D Zelda's games would be Skyward Sword HD for the Switch. I'm not exactly sure how that would control, though. That would be my only concern, is because... Well, here's the thing. Would it only function with the Joy-Cons? What if I wanted to play it in handheld mode? You know? I wonder if they would have to like rework the engine to be compatible with traditional controls, or if it would just only be something that would function through. Because I know some of the mechanics in Skyward Sword rely on you hitting things at certain angles, so that would be my only concern with a Skyward Sword remastered, but nonetheless, I think it would be really, really cool to see, especially HD-ifying all those beautiful Studio Ghibli-esque tapestries that you see in the backgrounds of all those environments and stuff. It would be really awesome to see in like a proper HD resolution. But Skyward Sword Remastered, yes, please. So this next one on my list, every time I mention it, it's a toss-up on whether or not people agree with me or not. But as someone who plays their Switch on a 4K monitor, I think it would be really...
You have a 4K monitor?
Yes, I play my Switch on a 4K monitor.
Okay, guys, this man has AirPods too, so he's just flexing on us. He is just flexing on us.
To be fair, I use it as my media monitor, so if I want to play anything in super high resolution, I use that. But moving along, I think it would be interesting to see a Nintendo Switch Pro introduced into the product lineup. All the other consoles do it at this point. It was something that I resisted at first, just because I didn't like the idea of companies, you know, remodeling the same console just with a few buffs in here and there. But as someone who plays on a 4K monitor, number one, and number two, that would just further boost the Switch's performance overall. I feel like I would definitely find value in being able to take my Switch portably on the go and being able to play on that screen in proper 1080p. Not to say that the Switch's screen right now is any sort of is like it's not bad, but I would still love to be able to play my games portably on the go in 1080p 60 frames per second. I don't know if that would make the console bigger or more bulky, but I think it would be something cool to be able to add as an option, you know, for people that want a little bit more from the performance of their console. Anyways,
I get what you're going for there.
yeah,
It'd be nice.
it's one of those things,
But-
like, if it doesn't happen, that's fine. If it does happen, I would probably get it, just because it's valuable to me.
If it does happen, I'm hoping it's something that they do sort of like the PS4 Pro, because that was something where they made it there as an option, and some games could really use its potential. But they
Oh,
didn't make it
yeah, that's another good point. So what I hope doesn't happen, and Nintendo did this with the 3DS, what I hope doesn't happen is that due to the increased performance, certain games are developed only for the Switch Pro.
Oh, that was so terrible a decision.
Exactly. And as a result, more and more developers would develop towards the hardware that's obviously newer and more powerful. So Luigi's Mansion, like the remaster, is a good example on 3DS. If you're playing that game on a new Nintendo 3DS, the game runs relatively fine. If you're playing it on an original 3DS, it's a nightmare. It is a performance nightmare. I think the same thing happened with Hyrule Warriors as well for 3DS. God, but I totally agree. Thank you for reminding me of that, because I wanted to get that out there as well. But Nintendo Switch Pro, please make it an option, not a standard.
Not a necessity.
Yeah, so I think that would be the best of both worlds, and it would be able to please both crowds of people who don't want it versus people that do. I think that would be a good way to just meet in the middle. So, Nintendo Switch Pro, I would like to see it, but please don't make it a standard. All right, so next on my list, I included this the last time we were at a discussion, I think, but Mario Odyssey DLC, right? If I'm being realistic with myself, it's probably too late at this point. But if I was to, you know, set up my dream E3, one of the big things that they would talk about during that direct would be like, you know, Mario Odyssey DLC. Look, you can go to the galaxies that you were in Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. Oh, what's this? You're in, you know, Paper Mario Land now. And oh my God, what's that? You're in a Smash Brothers Ultimate Kingdom. Like, just the amount of possibilities that that idea would present is just through the roof. I'm so confused as to why Nintendo didn't capitalize on that, because I feel like that would have been amazing to see, and
they
not
would've
too much
gotten a
work, to
lot
be
of money
honest.
from that.
Like, you're just developing maybe like 1 or 2 kingdoms at a time, which I don't even think that they would necessarily need to fit into the game narratively. I think that would be something cool where, you know, it opens up on the map after you buy it, and Cappy's like, oh, look at this, another kingdom. We can go explore that while we're going to save Peach, or something. You know?
No, it's just Cappy like, oh, look, we got it. Wait, no, Cappy is now,
Cappy's now Mickey Mouse, apparently.
Okay.
Oh, would you look at that, Mario? We got a new destination. It's over there. It's the Isle Delfino.
Oh, Isle Delfino! That's another one! Ah, Isle Delfino would be amazing to see in the Mario Odyssey engine.
Dude, honestly, it'd be Super Mario Sunshine remake, please.
Oh, dude, imagine the crossovers too. Like, hey, what's your brother up to? I heard he just bought a mansion. Let's go explore that.
No, okay. That's breaking the fourth wall. That's breaking the fourth wall. You
Okay,
can't do that.
maybe that's a little too lofty, but the idea of Mario Odyssey DLC just excites me, and I know it's probably not gonna happen because it's like this year it'll be what, like 2 years? Or no, it'll be 2 years after Mario Odyssey has been revealed in October. Holy guacamole!
It might be too late for them to do something with it. So
yeah,
I don't know. Like, if it's possible, it'd be cool. but I don't think it is.
Makes me sad. It would be so awesome. Anyway, all right. So the last thing on my list, and again, and I think is another thing that I included in our last discussion, but I'm going to say it anyway until it happens. Reggie, if you're listening, which I know you're not, please make it happen.
Hey, Reggie. Reggie, you know what's up. Give us this game.
Yeah, give us this game. All right, I'm going to say it, Reggie, and then you're going to stop listening, and then you're going to go do it. All right? So,
Okay, wait,
here's what I want him to do.
I'm going to send you a message. Don't look at it yet.
Okay, that sounds ominous, but all right. So, Reggie, I want you to go and make us Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 HD remasters. Because, number one, that game is long overdue for an HD overhaul. It does the game a great disjustice to be rendered in 480p on the Wii hardware when it could look so much better on the Switch hardware in 1080p 60 frames per second. Just imagine it. And another thing to point out about that game, unlike Skyward Sword, motion controls aren't built in to the way that that game functions. Well, no, it's not actually. I mean, it is, because there are some moves that require you to shake the Wii remote in order to make Mario like spin, but that could very easily be remapped to like a button or something. There are so many more buttons on the Switch controller than there are on the Wii remote. So I don't think that's
press down B and it'll work.
I don't think that that's exactly out of the realm of possibility to just put it on a button. But that's the only thing that Mario Galaxy has that's anywhere near motion controls. Yes, there was a pointer, but that's something that was optional during the playthrough of that game. Oh, crap! Wait! That game did have a pointer system! Oh, no. I just found a flaw in my own argument. Oh, crap. Wait, no! No, I'm saving it again! Because that game only utilized one stick, because it only had the nunchuck. So, you could use the pointer on the right stick of the Switch controllers. Ha ha!
Okay,
I just
like
solved
pointers.
it for everyone. You're welcome. There you go. So right stick would be the pointer, and then some button on the controller would be the spin attack or something. Yeah. And, I mean, it's not ideal. It's nowhere near as fluid as just pointing at the screen, but I would much rather have it on the right stick than on the gyroscope pointer controls that are in the Joy-Cons, because those are pretty unreliable.
Yeah.
I think
So,
they...
is that it?
Yeah. I think that's I think that's pretty much it. Unless you have anything else to add?
Honestly, I think our discussion has covered a lot of ground. Like, we covered what's coming out this year. We covered what's coming out in our hopeful predictions, and then we did like, yo, you know what's cool? Well, these games are cool. They're probably not going to come out, but you know, it would be really darn cool if they did. So
Yeah.
I think that's an area that's a pretty good stopping point. So,
All
do
right.
you have anything else to add?
No, that's pretty much it. And that is pretty much the end of our discussion for the day. I want to give a huge thank you to our good, wonderful friend of the channel, our boy Proxence. Thank you
Hi.
so much for joining us for today's ramblings. It's always super fun having you here as well.
Yeah.
I'll leave a link in the comments for you guys to check out his channel. He does some awesome stuff, and he even loses to me in various games from time to time, so definitely worth a follow.
I defeated him in the best game ever, Pokemon Tournament.
Silence. Anyways, thank you all so much for Thank you all so much for tuning in and hanging out with us for today's discussion. But before we take off for the day, I think there's only one thing left to say, and that is, of course, as always, I'm alecandstuff. Say goodbye to the people, Proxence.
Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And as always, I will see you guys next time. And
Did you just steal my line?
That's my outro line. That's okay. And at the end of every single video, I say, and well, as always, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time. Bye, everybody.
Wow. I feel... I don't know.
I've been saying that since 2014. Try me.
You know, I think I have too, but I'd have to go into the deep dark realms of my YouTube history. Anyways, thank you all so much for joining us, and we will see you all again real soon.